Hey guys, what is going on? It's Zag, just here to show you a little bit about this insane Deathblade build that I've been playing. It's super fun. This is the Surge build for Deathblade. Extremely overpowered. One of the coolest and most fun classes to play in this entire game, in my opinion. We're kind of going to just jump through it step by step, so I can walk you through the skills, and not only the skills, but the rotation you need. Because that's what I feel like a lot of people, that especially me, that I was playing without the rotation in mind of your skills. And once you get them down pat, you can cycle through them like infinitely and do like more damage than anybody on the playing field right now. So let's just jump right into it. So the whole point of a Surge Deathblade, right, is to essentially fill up this death orb meter as quick as you can, and then what it's going to allow you to do is quickly fill it back up while it's draining, and use your special ability or your special Z attack on enemies. And then once you use that ability, it instantly regenerates to having a full bar again, over and over and over again. Okay, the one thing you are going to need to have is Surge. So you're going to have at least one engraving level in Surge. The level 2 and level 3 really aren't that big of a difference, and you really don't need them. So I would just get level 1 Surge for now, focus your other stuff on other things. But as long as you have this, you will be able to run this group of skills. So we're going to start off with our skills. So what you want to have for your first skill is Wind Cut. You're going to want to get that to skill level 7. Now obviously people are going to have more skill points than others. This is just general for or about, you know, mid-level tier 1, tier 2. So skill level 7. And the two perks you're going to want to have is Quick Prep, which cools down the time that it takes to cast, and this Sustain Enhancement ability. Essentially what this is going to do is this is a 3-hit attack. So what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to essentially build up three stacks toward that total 20 stacks that you want in order to regen your death orb meter. Next is going to be Spin Cutter. What we're going to do is want to have this to skill level 10. You're going to want to do Open Weakness, which is great because all party members now do more damage. Quick Prep, which does the cooldown time minus 4 seconds. And then Triple Spin, it's going to allow you to also do 3 attacks on an enemy. It also allows you to have insane mobility. So this way you can get another 3 stacks towards your death orb meter. So out of those 2 skills, we're already up to 6 out of 20, right? So you can see how quick we're going to be able to fill up this 20. Dark Axle. What you're going to want to do is go Swift Fingers, Tenacity, and High Axle. This is great for large mobility, and it grants push immunity during your aerial attacks. So that's great. Soul Absorber, Swift Fingers, Fist of Darkness, and Have. This is just going to be a great way to regenerate your death orb meter if you don't already have it full, and also a huge damage ability as well. Earth Cleaver. You're going to want to have this, and you're going to want to have the push ability. What this is going to do is actually hit twice, so it's going to give you 2 stacks towards your 20 stacks for your death orb meter. Maelstrom, you're going to want to go with Orb Control and Dark Order, and essentially when you cast Maelstrom, what it's going to allow you to do is also generate multiple stacks based off of how many times you're able to hit the enemy with it and stay in the range of the enemy where you cast it. Blitz Rush, this is going to be your biggest damage ability, especially with backstab damage. You're going to want to go with Vital Point Hit, Charge Enhancement, and Shadow Rush. Another great ability is Void Strike. So what this is going to do is give you Death Orb Meter gain plus 50% when you choose Orb Control. That's what you want. In case your Death Orb Meter isn't all the way full, this is going to allow you to regen it very quickly. And Void Zone. So those are going to be your abilities, and essentially I'll go ahead and jump in here and show you the rotation to show you how this is really OP. So just to give you an example, our death orb meter is now full, right? You can see down here. So what that allows us to do is enter our trance ability. So when you hit Z, it enters your trance ability. And here, once you do this, is when you will be able to hit all of your combination attacks, which I'll show you here in just a minute. And you'll be able to generate death orb meters essentially. And what that will allow you to do is after you get a 20 stack built up here, you can cast your Z hit that does a ton of damage on enemies. And what it does is it converts those 20 orbs into your death orb meter to refill it all over again. So I'll go ahead and walk through the skills really quick, and then we'll go through kind of how to do that and what the best way to do that is. So essentially how this is going to work, so especially when you're fighting a boss fight, whether you're doing a guardian raid or some dungeon or whatever it may be, right? You're going to want to go firstly into trance with Z, and then this is going to activate your ability to use your surge to attack with your abilities and get stacks towards your death orb meter. So I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like, and really what you want to do is use the skills that hit the most first, so that way the cooldown on them regenerates and you can use them quickly again. For instance, the Q spin ability, it'll hit 3 times. Earth Cleaver, that'll hit twice. Other things like that, right? So I'll go ahead and show you what I mean. So when I enter death trance, right, I hit Z. What it's going to do is when I hit 3 times to do 3 spin attacks with my Q ability, right, what it's going to do is give me 3 surge enhancement. So essentially once you get to 20 surge enhancement, you can hit Z, cast your special ability to do a lot of damage, and what it will do is automatically regenerate the amount of stacks that you have built up here. So I only had 3 stacks there, which is why it only gave me probably half of 1 orb. Like I said, you have to get 20 to regenerate the entire thing. So I'll go ahead and show you what this looks like. So essentially I have my death orb meter full. Now what we're going to want to do is use our skills that hit the most, our multi-hit skills like Spin Cutter, Earth Cleave, and Wind Cut, and Maelstrom first. So that way we get the most stacks built up, and they start to regen early into the cycle. So that way we can make sure we get all 20 stacks that we need. If you pay attention right here, I'll end up having 20 stacks, and then what I'll do is I'll hit my Z ability and hit him for a ton of damage, and this will completely regenerate all by itself. So I'll hit Z to pop my trance, do a multi-hit ability, cast Maelstrom, hit with Earth Cleaver, do Wind Cut, and then while those build up, I'm going to hit with these other abilities, right? And then by the time I get done with the Spin Cut, I have 20 death orbs, or 20 surge enhancement built up, and then I just hit him with my Z ability, do almost 1,000,000 damage, and this automatically regenerates. And then you pop Z again, but it's important that you know your rotations and you know what skills to hit when, especially with Deathblade doing a lot of backstab damage. You also want to try and get behind the enemy, right, to hit some of your abilities when you do hit them, like Blitz Rush, which does over 200,000, 400,000 a hit. And some of these other charge abilities like that. So essentially that's the rotation, and what it allows you to do is build up these death orbs and rotate and constantly do damage and do constant DPS. And even if you don't completely fill up your death orb, which I'll show you all the way here, let's say I get stuck at 15, and the great thing is that no matter how much of this death orb meter is left, by the time you hit your big Z ability to do a lot of damage, it's going to do a ton anyways. So you can see I have 18 stacks here. I'm just going to let this drain out. Let's say I didn't fill it up all the way. It's going to be right there, almost filled up, right? So your rotation's never really screwed. So you can see I did 1 F attack, and now I'm back to full. So this build is really fun. It's fast paced. It can do a lot of damage. The only things you could swap out, to be honest, and maybe you could consider this just for damage purposes, you could really swap out if you wanted. Moonlight Sonic is a huge damage ability. You could swap out Moonlight Sonic for, let's say, Soul Absorber or Void Strike, or maybe even Earth Cleaver, because you can get multiple stacks from Moonlight Sonic if you hit, the entire cast. Also, one of the things I would just touch on, especially for boss raids, things like that, is your engravings, especially your engraving effects, right? So when we're talking about engravings, honestly, I think the best to have in tier 1 and tier 2, obviously you have to have Surge at level 1. So Supercharge is going to be the best ability, in my opinion, charging your skills up to 20%, 40% faster. That's going to give your big hit abilities like Blitz Rush, Void Strike, Soul Absorber, basically allow you to hit twice as fast. And Ambush Master, which allows you to get extra back attack damage, which is huge for this class because that's what the class is based around. So like I said, especially Supercharge, it becomes a huge thing when you're in boss fights, and you get behind a boss, he only has so much time before he turns around, so it's a big deal. That being said, I would also focus your gear towards crit and specialization. So specialization, you can see right here, gives you extra surge skill damage. What that's going to allow basically is a lot more damage when you're doing your surge and your large attack abilities, stuff like that. So definitely go between these two, especially focus on specialization. Like I said, mine are kind of all over the place just because I'm just finding gear and trying to get the engravings that I want. But if you can pick, go with these two, especially here, and it's going to be a big difference. So seriously, thank you guys. Let me know in the comments if you think you're going to make a Deathblade build, or kind of what you're maining already. I'm trying to find a good second alt, and but this build is so fun to play that I almost just can't, because it's so fast paced and strategic. So thank you guys very much. All of you have a beautiful day. Peace.